Hey solos, it's Samantha. Olaf may not know who Samantha is, but now you do. And welcome to Solo Magic, the #1 podcast about solo travel to Disney World. I have another bonus episode for you that is a solo story. It was so fun. It was such an incredibly fun conversation. I got to talk with Dani, who was also known on Instagram and Threads as ParksCurlsandMagic's, and we just had the most fun random conversation. We talked about Greece, we talked about Boys to Men, we talked about Dapper Day, we talked about Expedition Everest and single rider lines, we talked about men being creepy at Disney and also like men not being creepy at Disney. Anyway, it was just a really fantastic conversation, and it really highlights how awesome it is to connect with this community of people who travel to Disney solo and just live their best lives while being at the park. So I hope you enjoy as much as I enjoy talking with her. You can connect with Dani on social media. All the links that she has to Instagram and Threads and everything like that are in the description of this episode, along with all of the links to my Instagram and Threads and Facebook and all of that stuff. Plus, you can listen to this episode on Apple, on Spotify, on YouTube, and of course, you can also subscribe and rate and comment and review and share with friends and all that stuff too. So make sure you do that. All right, well, you don't want to listen to me anymore, although you get to hear me laugh a lot in this particular conversation. I hope you have a really great time listening to our conversation. And just remember, I'm always looking for people to do solo stories with. I'm not going to do as many solo stories this summer because scheduling can always be, complicated in the summer. But I definitely want to make sure that we're doing more throughout the fall. So let me know. Connect with me on Instagram and everything like that. All right, let's get into it. Dani, hello. Thank you so much for agreeing to be on the Solo Magic podcast. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure, Samantha. Nice to meet you. Nice to chat. I'm Dani. I have a page that I'm obsessed with Disney t-shirts and all the things Disney and solo Disney days, which I do a lot as a local Disney girly, as they would say. My page is shameless plug is Parks, Curls, and Magic. And I just picked that title because I love theme parks. I have curly hair and I feel magical.
Well, you seem magical, and I think you're underselling your page by saying that you love Disney t-shirts, because it's funny when you said that, I was like, is that what I've seen on her page? And I'm like, no, I've seen way more fun outfits than just a t-shirt.
So it's evolved.
Evolved.
It's because I looked at my collection, and if I realize I think I counted the other day of 35, maybe 40 t-shirts, just specifically Disney themed, specifically. And then friends and family are like, I need you to wear something else other than a Disney t-shirt to Disney. And I'm like, fine, I'll try to be cute. So then now it evolves into rompers and dresses and wearing heels and wedges all around Epcot by myself and getting blisters.
I was like, oh, well, now you're just boasting? I can wear heels and wedges and Epcot.
It wasn't boasting.
Oh, good for you.
I wasn't boasting, but you know how you sometimes you put on something, you're like, oh, I should be fine.
Yeah.
My feet feel great. 4 hours later.
Yeah, you get to China and you're like, oh, was this a bad idea? Because where I'm standing right now, I just have to keep walking this same distance. It's either all the way around or all the way back.
It wasn't even China. That's the saddest part. I started in Canada. So I literally was walking up that ramp after the UK and I was like, this was a stupid decision. The stupidest thing I've ever done.
Well, I don't know if you've gone during the Dapper days, but I have. And there are people that are wearing these giant heels. And I'm like, ladies, please just organize your outfits around flat shoes. I know it doesn't look as good, but what are you doing?
Listen, my first Dapper Day was this year and I dressed up as the Brandy version of Cinderella. And because she's my favorite.
That's amazing. I feel like maybe I saw you. Anyway, I'm sure we did walk by each other.
Maybe because your face looks familiar, which is really cliche, even though we're looking at each other now. But I wore clear flats because they were like to represent Cinderella's like glass
Yeah, of
slipper.
course.
The heel was probably half of my nail length, and I was dying between being sweaty and the heel. I was like, we gotta go.
Were they closed-toed shoes?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but they
see,
were
also like
clear.
that's a choice. I mean, a great choice. I'm
No, no,
sure you
no.
look beautiful.
Beauty is pain, girls. That's what she says in Cinderella, the stepmother in Cinderella. Beauty is pain, and it felt painful,
Yeah.
but I was cute, so mission accomplished.
We'll make sure when this episode goes out, we'll like make sure to like link back to those photos so everyone can see how beautiful you looked.
Oh, thanks. Yeah,
Could
I was
you
about to say, I got so many compliments. Like people stopped me because I had the pumpkin purse in my
oh,
hand
see,
like this.
amazing.
I was
Amazing.
like, about guys, I
Would you do
died.
Dapper Day again?
Oh, of course. I
Yeah.
can't wait for the next one. Who did you dress up as or what did
So
you wear?
So at Epcot, it was like Alice in Wonderland themed. It was kind of inspired
Mhm.
by the flowers in the garden. So I had
Oh,
a teal
cute.
dress and a nice
Cute.
fascinator. And then Magic Kingdom, I was Lady Tremaine, and I had a Lucifer purse and a
Stop it.
huge fascinator. I loved it. And then a burgundy dress.
Oh,
Yeah,
I love it. That's
yeah,
my goal. My fascinator has to be humongous next time because it was just like a cute little dainty one over the one side.
yeah.
I want a jumbo sized one.
Canadians don't do things as big. So when I went for the first time in April, when I
Mm,
got there, I was like, oh, I understand. I can do this bigger. And so,
same.
yes. And so so then in December and then in the April, I just kept getting bigger and bigger fascinators. So it was like giant. I loved it. I was like, the bigger, the better.
I was like, this is our like Kentucky Derby. Like we can do the most regardless. Nobody's gonna judge us. The regular park goers for that day are gonna be like, what is going on? Did I miss the memo? But we are just gonna thrive.
Yeah, but
And
they
it's
say, did I miss the memo? You all look great. And I'm like, correct on both accounts.
valid. But
Yeah.
I really was shocked because it was my first Dapper Day, and I was just like, this is so much fun. How did I miss this all these years? I'm so mad.
Yeah, it's fun. And it's like a really fun vibe. Like everyone is, yeah, it's just a really fun vibe. Like I said, when I went last year, I was like, oh, I'm coming back to this.
You're like, I'm coming. You don't have to tell me twice. Just tell me the dates, the end, the weekend. Tell me. And
Yeah,
it was a
I'll be there.
beautiful weekend. Like it didn't rain.
No, 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 it was great. And I know it was hot, but I got a parasol, one of the Dapper Day parasols, and that was a
Okay.
huge like heat game changer. So I was like, all right, well, guess we're doing the parasol all the time now.
Yeah, I think if my fascinator isn't big, the parasol is going to be attached to my arm
Yeah.
because even now going to the parks on yesterday, I was like, where's an umbrella? I'm dying.
We
Like
just need
my
the bio dome of air conditioning. Not too much, so we can feel,
there's actually an umbrella you can get now that has a fan attached to the top part of it inside,
oh,
and you just have to like hold it and you get the fan breezing down on you.
so last year in June, I bought one of the hand fans,
Hmm.
and it was a Pride one, and they're very, very big. And I was sitting at the like pub in Epcot, and I was eating,
Oh,
and
okay.
the family were saying that they liked the fan, and I was like, yeah, thank you, but I know it seems big, and so it would be very cooling, but it's actually too big. And then the kid said something. I was like, oh, are you offering to fan it for me? And she's like, what you need is a man in each of the pavilions to come and fan you. And I was like, you, child, have just made the best idea I've ever heard.
You child are a genius.
I was like, but I don't think I want to talk to you, 14-year-old boy, about this anymore. But yes, like which pavilion should I start?
Where?
Where?
Mexico or Canada?
Yeah.
Which one?
Where will all those men be? Because that would be
That
great.
is so funny. I have one of those fans, but it's the Wish version.
Yeah, yeah.
On another solo trip to Disney a week ago, no, 2 weeks ago, I went on a Saturday morning just to go for a couple hours, and
Oh,
I forgot
Florida.
my fan in my car, my electrical fan, and I was like, I can't do this. I can't be outside right now. I bought the big one and I was in the line for the safari, like fanning myself, and I felt like one of those guys that the little boy was talking about, just fanning the whole crowd. This lady was behind me. She was like, "Yeah, keep going. I appreciate it." And I
And
was
you're like,
just,
no, it's for me. It's my air. I'm
I was
making.
like, I was like, "Man, my forearm is burning.
Yeah.
This is not me.
It's too big. It's too big.
This is really too big." But it's like really funny and dramatic when you like whip it out.
Oh, I know. I love it so much. I was like, oh, we're going to do stuff with this. We're just not going to use it to fan ourselves in the parks. Yeah.
It's an accessory,
Yeah.
literally.
Yeah. 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 Okay. Well, I'm glad we're doing super well through the questions. I haven't even asked you the first question, but I think you covered
I
a lot.
My friends tell me, my family tell me that I can talk to a wall. So,
Oh, okay. Well, I'll pretend I'm not a wall, but it's good. We are
well,
all on top.
well, in a way of like I can talk to anybody
No,
and
no, I get
I
it.
can find any topic to talk about and be fine.
Well, and that's what's been so fun about doing these solo stories is that all of
Yeah.
a sudden it's all these like people that want to talk about all these Disney details. And
Uh-huh.
I mean, maybe it's different when you live in Florida, but I know all the people in my circle, they're like, oh, we definitely don't want to hear about whoever this Tiana is.
Literally, I just was trying to tell my mom and sister, oh yeah, I got to ride the Tiana ride yesterday. And then my sister comes in with this like monologue. "Well, I really feel like it's important for you to like go outside of the Disney bubble to meet somebody and like do other things. Like, I think that's important." And I'm just like, I don't care.
So my sister lives in Italy and she's like,
Ooh,
you've gone to Disney a lot this year. You should come visit me. And I'm like, ooh, but you know it's not in Italy? And she's like, don't please do not finish that sentence. And I was like,
I will.
okay, I won't.
Well, you just use context clues, okay? All right.
Exactly, exactly. But I can go to Italy at a place called Epcot. So there's that too.
You next time when you're down here next week, you should just send her and be like, "Oh my gosh, I'm in a new part of Italy that you've never been to."
Yeah.
Send her a selfie.
Oh, look. Oh, no, but you can't tell where I am. Oh, just about to go have pizza like you are. Anyway, so tell me about how you got like started in Disney. Like, did it start when you were a kid? Is it only been an adult thing? It's been so interesting. Like, everyone is kind of different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it started as a kid. I know we only went maybe 3 times as a family. I have a big family, so it's 4 girls and my parents, and I'm the oldest. And I just love Disney. My mom tried to force me to grow out of it. Like I had the Winnie the Pooh bed covers. But I think it like simmered down as I went to college and high school and blah, blah, blah. But then like during COVID, I was like, I need something to do. I'm
Yeah.
sick of this. And then it kind of reignited. I went one year, 2018. I was like, this is my year to do things by myself. So I had a whole list of things. I was like, I'm going to go to Disney by myself. That was the first time I've ever gone to Disney. This was before I uploaded it on the page. This is before I knew there was a Disney community on Instagram or Facebook. So I went to Disney by myself. People were like, you're here by yourself? And I'm like, yeah, how are you? But I think that really kind of in the back of my mind in 2020, it was like, hey, let me do Disney because I don't see girls or women like that look like me that love Disney. Well, lo and behold, there is a whole community of Black women that love Disney, which I have definitely made some lifelong friendships in the community that love Disney. But I think that's the kind of my genesis of the Disney.
Yeah, I love that. Like as a white woman, which you can see because we're on Zoom, but for those anyone listening, like from someone looking from the outside, it seems like the Black Disney community is so protective of each other and like really like supportive of all these goals. And it's just really cool to see that type of
Yeah.
community.
Yeah, it's really cool. Like I just because like the stigma is like from people outside looking in that not within my bubble out like that love Disney. They're like, oh, you probably hang out with a lot of white women, Hispanic women, purple women, yellow women.
There are a lot of purple women, yes.
But I'm like, no, maybe over 65% of the people I hang out with all the time are
Yeah.
Black women. And they're like, huh? And I'm like, yeah, there are Black people that love Disney. And so it's like refreshing to not always feel like the outlier or not relatable, especially now that Tiana is a ride, physical ride.
Hmm.
And the fact that I'm on a ride that I see an animatronic that looks like me, skin tone, similar hair, it's wild. It's full circle moment and literally almost brought me to tears of writing it because I was just like, I don't know how to respond. I don't know whether to scream, laugh, smile, cry, but it is just refreshing to be part of a community that's so positive because like work is work, bills
Yeah.
are bills. Like outside of the Disney bubble, it's so peaceful and joyful all the time that it's just fun to be around people. I don't know if that's the same sentiments you have with being like in the Disney community.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, because like, I mean, now that with the podcast, I feel like, oh, I could step into this community a little bit more. But to me, it was like, it was just like me in this bubble that I'm like, oh, I feel so safe and fun and like
Hmm.
not judged. And you can try all these things. And it just feels like such a great place. And so it's been really wonderful to have conversations and hear that echoed back and then
Yeah.
hear like the differences in people's experiences as well. Yeah, that's been really cool to be able to see.
Yeah, I love it. It's literally like a bubble. Like I'm not judged walking into the park with a full
Right.
strip of glitter on my face.
Yeah. I like you were talking about all of the t-shirts that you have, but my closet is definitely growing in Disney dresses. And I'm just
Really?
like, I like, how can I wear a dress with like Encanto characters to like an office? I can't. Like, oh, this
Literally.
new dress I got has Daisy Duck on it. Like, is it big enough that people will notice? Like, it's so interesting because I was like, it's so joyful that I want this. I want people to see it in my clothes as well, but like, maybe not in certain places in Toronto.
Oh, literally.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I need to run to Walmart or Target or whatever have you and do some like errands. And I'm looking through the closet. I'm like, oh, let me just throw on a regular t-shirt. I literally don't have a regular t-shirt. Either it's a Disney t-shirt or a Disney t-shirt.
Yeah.
Either or Disney t-shirt or a Disney t-shirt.
I know. I was like, ooh, my fancy dress. Oh, no, that has characters on it. No, no thanks.
And you're like, wow, I probably should order things that don't have characters on it.
I mean, I have those dresses too. They're just not as joyful. I mean, that's not true. I think people would think that my dress collection is pretty joyful, but I want to wear the new ones.
Right. Oh my gosh. I'm like, and then I'm like, ooh, what bag should I wear? I kind of want to wear this bag because I can put this charm on it. I'm a big, like, in my head, I would love to own all the new emos, even though
Okay.
even the characters I don't really like, which I feel like it's very taboo to say you don't like a character because everybody kind of like dresses up as everything.
So what's it? Who's a character you don't like?
I don't really like, who is it?
But if you're worried about being canceled,
Oh, never that. I'm just trying to give you a list. Never that, because I feel like everybody is able to have an opinion, and I won't be downright disrespectful. I'll be respectful. I'll be like, okay, well, that's you.
yeah,
Me,
enjoy that.
me, love that for you. But I don't like I'm not a big fan of the movie Up. Like Russell
Oh, yeah,
doesn't do it for me. May
yeah.
May cute, but I don't want her as a new emo. Do I just want to own the new emo to own it? Absolutely, because they're so cute. But that's pretty much it. I think that's my new obsession that I feel like Disney is pressuring me to buy all these new
Oh,
emos.
yeah. I mean, I feel like when we're like, I feel like there's just certain topics that we don't talk about, like the consumerism, capitalism, like why Pocahontas is an animal kingdom, which takes place in Africa and Asia. Like there's just
Yeah,
stories we don't go into. And the fact that Disney wants you to buy stuff all the time is for me at least one of those stories. I'm just like, take my credit card. Thank you for this new dress.
literally. But you know what? I'm really proud of Disney because their old merch used to be ugly and nobody was saying anything. And I'm just like, Disney, now you've actually tapped into my millennial pockets and I'm mad because now everything is not majoritarily ugly. It's actually pretty cute. And
Yeah.
now I got to figure out how I'm going to respond.
Respond by buying it now or later.
Literally. Because my favorite character is Winnie the Pooh. And they just dropped this like Winnie the Pooh and Friends t-shirt. And I'm trying to decide if it's ugly shaped for me, that I
Yep.
don't need it because it's a t-shirt.
Is it one of those cropped shirts? Cause
Yeah,
like,
that's not cute for me.
yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand like who wants cropped shirts. I mean, I guess young people, but even when I was young, I didn't want a cropped shirt. But
I have like one or two because I was like, I love the character that's on the shirt more than anything else. But yeah, I was just like,
so what's something
gonna
that
lie.
you do solo that you couldn't do with other people?
Go on a ride that I don't have to ask people if they want to ride it right now. Like
Ooh,
that's a big thing that I realize I like. Like if I want to ride Everest, I just hop in the single rider line on in 2 seconds. But
yeah,
if I want to ride with people, it's a whole 30 minutes, which granted, if you're listening, hey, that's not a long wait. But as somebody who lives here, time is money, money is time, and I don't like to wait more than 30 minutes because I'm always here, and I try not to do all the rides to kind of keep the magic of going
right.
on certain rides all the time.
So when you go, is it primarily a rides-based experience for you?
Pretty much, and I don't know why. I just enjoy riding the rides. Like there's been countless times I've gone when I lived in Tampa, and then come on the East Coast to visit my parents. I would pop into Epcot, get a virtual queue for Guardians, ride it, run back into the car, drive the rest of the hour to my parents. Like
I feel
I
like I just can't interview Florida locals anymore. It's just like
we
too
have
much
toxic behavior. We have
because
toxic
everyone
behavior.
has said that. Oh, I just go ride Guardians and then leave. It's like, oh.
Literally, even especially if there's no festival and it's
Yeah,
really crowded, like unfortunately Epcot is really big, but it can get really crowded and tight when you're walking through the different pavilions. And I just ain't got the patience.
yeah.
I I don't don't have the patience, which is a common thing people that live local are say. Like we don't have the
I mean, I'm
patience.
not local, but I feel the same way. Like, I love the festivals, but I will
Hmm.
always make a dining reservation because I'm like, I want to make sure I eat. You know what? And then I'll wait in line for 15 minutes for like a dessert, but I want to make sure that I eat and in my air conditioning.
Literally,
Yeah.
like I did it when I was in Magic Kingdom by myself, not this week, but the week before. Like I literally like so sorry. I was trying to give you frame of reference. So sorry. But when I did my last solo day for Magic Kingdom, I was like, okay, objective. We're doing all air conditioned rides.
Yeah.
Literally, I just would only walk outside to get to the ride. So I did Space Mountain, Carousel of Progress, which is low key my favorite Magic
Really?
Kingdom.
Wow,
Yeah, I don't know why.
I don't know either.
You know what? I associate a lot of my favorites with like going with my parents and going with my
Oh,
dad and my sisters.
yeah.
Like, thankfully they're all living, but like I do enjoy it because it was like a family first time we rode together type of thing.
As someone that majored in history and women's studies, I
Uh-huh.
find Carousel of Progress very difficult
Cringy.
to sit through.
Yeah,
Very, very difficult. So I'm like, no, we do never need to do this again.
you're like, this is a one-hit wonder. I tend to ignore it because, especially when it goes into the third act and the daughter is on the little vibrator thing,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
like the second act in where, stop, dad, don't show them. I'm indecent. And that's like her line. I'm like, this is a lot, guys. Like, this is a lot.
Oh, yeah,
But the
that's it.
last scene is probably the like fine. Like it's fine. Like there's you can't find really
Yeah,
nothing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That one doesn't get my head like working as fast. But I did just see a reel that said that the animatronic birds from Mary Poppins are in the window of the first
Yes.
act, and I'm like, oh fuck! Now I gotta go see it again.
Now
See
you
like
gotta go see it.
celebrity birds.
And then the dog is the same dog from Living with the Land.
Yeah, I knew that. That's not as exciting for me as the Mary Poppins bird.
Is Mary Poppins your favorite?
It's not my favorite, but I relate to it like in career wise. So I'm always very like
Oh,
there's a lot of
okay.
Mary Poppins stuff like hidden behind me because I feel like
Oh.
I can put that up at work and it's not quite as
Oh, I do. Listen.
questioning as like Cinderella.
No, at my usual work desk when I'm on work calls and stuff, I have my big Mickey silhouette in the back. I have my Funko Pops on the side panels, kind of like yours displayed, but it's to the side angle.
Yeah.
And then when I was working in an office meeting with my staff at the time, I had my Mickey clock in the background, had my
But you
Magic
live in
Kingdom
Florida,
mouse.
right? I think that
I
there's a
will
little
still
bit
have
more
that same
leeway.
energy. No, same energy. I'm like, because I like to be a leader, not a follower, because it
Yeah.
bothers me. Like, even funniest thing that I probably don't say out loud, but I stand on it. Like, this is my soapbox. I don't like matching people necessarily in the parks,
Okay.
especially the matching t-shirts
Mm-hmm.
that families wear. It bothers me. I'm like, we can coordinate, guys. We cannot match. We are wearing all different shirts. I don't want to match. I don't want to physically match you. Like, I want to be myself and not match you. So, like, why do we have to wear these matching shirts today?
I feel like that's kind of like a one and done thing. I mean, do people go
No.
back multiple times and wear matching shirts every time?
No, but you know what? That's a valid reason too. Like, how are you gonna wear a matching shirt and then you're not gonna be able to wear that? So then you're wasting money.
And then do you ever wear it again? Like, do you ever go to the soccer game with a shirt that says like sis on it, you know?
No,
Rich auntie.
right. Like, I'm here just to pay for the Disney trip. You're not wearing that outside again.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. The one that angers me is
I want to hear that.
pardon?
I want to hear this.
Is my favorite Disney witch is my wife.
Ew. I've
Yeah.
never seen that one.
Yeah, I don't love that one. And then have you seen have you seen the one that says like my favorite princess calls me daddy? Right? Like oh father and like with their little 6-year-old daughters. It gets worse, but have you seen those shirts?
No,
Okay,
it's
so I mean
creepy.
it's kind of cute when it's a father and there's clearly young daughters around, right? But I saw a couple at Animal Kingdom and he he had a shirt on that said, "My favorite nurse calls me daddy." And I was like, "Oh no, guys, don't. No. Don't. Ew." I couldn't get the image out of my head. I had to like walk away. I was like,
It,
don't.
but
No.
that's the same thing. Like, because I see it all the time now because it's so hot. When I see these young girls with like the crop tops and the booty shorts and stuff, and I'm just like, guys, can we have
No. How can you walk around in that? How can you walk
like
around with that?
I'm like
So uncomfortable.
I'm uncomfortable because my intrusive thought is like there could be creepy people because my
Oh, for
background is
sure.
working with kids and families. So like I don't want to see that.
Yeah.
I don't want somebody else to see that because
Yeah.
no.
No.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
well, this took a weird turn. So
okay.
you talked about rides, you've talked about clothes, you haven't talked anything about food.
This
Oh,
is where
okay.
people are going to be upset.
Oh, all right, no problem.
Dani is a creature of habit because I go to the park to ride the ride. I will just eat whatever. I'll eat a pretzel. I'll grab some coconut Dole Whip. I'll get some, what is it, cheeseburger, spring rolls.
Okay, well
Call it a day.
that's not controversial.
Well, I don't go outside the like regular quick service that I eat. Like,
Oh, I see, I see.
I only tried the spring rolls because a friend asked me, "Did you ever had spring rolls?" And I was like, "What are you talking about? I don't know what those are or that they existed." I've only been to Steakhouse 71 because my friend was like, "Oh, let's do this since I'm in town," and I was like, "What is that? Never done it." I didn't even know. I just went to Ohana in April for the first time,
Okay.
and I was like, "Wow, I feel really fat." So
But
this is
why?
why
Why? Because you
this is
ate a
why
lot
people
or
are
because everyone there was like weirdly
no,
big?
because I was like, this is so much food. Who is going to eat this? Now I feel guilty that it's still sitting in front of me. And so now I have to try to make sure, A, it was expensive. B, I was like, I have to make sure I don't waste the food.
You were
And
doing a service. I
oh
don't hear
yeah,
what the
I
problem with that.
listen. Dani isn't a small girly. She's thick thing. She's a thick little person. So I'll eat. But it was just it was shocking to me because I've never eaten there. So I was a
Right,
little
right.
but yeah, I'm really a creature of habit. Like at the fest, I don't get excited as much for the festivals. I get excited to see the topiaries. I get excited to see the arts,
Right.
those little things. But like the food,
You
indifferent.
could take or leave. Do you go to any of the Epcot concerts?
Oh, absolutely. Boys to Men is my favorite
Yes.
band, and I cried the first time that I saw them in concert the year before. And I vowed to myself that that'll be the first time I do a dining reservation to get VIP seating because I'm gonna get a rose this time.
Yeah.
If you've been there, when they come, they give out roses in this.
Amazing.
So I'm like, I'm getting a rose.
So last year, so my music tastes are a generation before that. So I went to go
Okay.
see the Commodores, the
I wanted to
Spinners.
see them.
The Commodores were not great actually because the singers they brought in to like replace the dead guys, they just weren't as strong. The Spinners, on the other hand, I was like, geez, who is your granddaddy? Like those guys have been doing those moves for 50 years and they looked amazing.
Really?
And then where was I? Then there was another band and I can't remember who it was. And this year I went to see the Pointer Sisters,
Oh,
and
nice.
that was really awesome too. So I'm like, that's fine. You all go see Boys to Men. I'm gonna go see the acts that could be dead next year.
I support it because like that's how music stays alive. And when the Boys to Men show last year versus the year before, people were up, going off, blah blah. And then last year, everybody was sitting down like this was entertainment. I was like, this is a concert. Your phone is supposed to be put away, and you're supposed to be interacting and singing the songs to the top of your lungs. What are you doing?
Yeah, it's a weird vibe at the concerts because it's not people that clearly go to concerts a lot. And I'm not
Yeah,
necessarily go to concert either, but I will
me
get
neither.
the dining package and I'll stand up and I'm like, I'm sorry I'm standing in front of all of you, but I'm here to dance to the singer.
I'm never sorry because literally when I went to my first concert, I was shocked at the amount of people sitting down because I'm like, in my brain, I have been to maybe 5 or 6 concerts in my life, but I like to dance and I really have no shame because I have rhythm, but if I like something, I like something, I'm going to start dancing. So I was just like, why is everybody sitting down? You guys are being boring. Why? You can't sit next to me or around me and be boring.
Yeah, when I went last year to one of the concerts, I can't believe I can't remember that third one, but I went with my mother and I got the dining package so she could sit close. And I said to
Cool.
the usher, like, oh, my mom's gonna dance. Is that okay? And they were like, yeah, that's fine. And then the song started. I like
Oh.
stood up and started dancing, and she's like, oh, I guess we're dancing. And
Like it was so bad last year. I had a whole group of like 10 people for Boys to Men on my row. I was like, I will leave y'all at whatever pavilion y'all are at to go stand in this line. I'm not missing this.
no, no,
You
no,
will be by yourself. And if you're going to be in the crowd with me on this row, you're going to be dancing participation. You need a
100%.
participation credit.
I have to make these grade seven dreams come true. And now I
Exactly.
understand what these lyrics mean.
Literally, that's so funny. Side tangent. I went to the Millennial Tour and I was like, wow, 12-year-old Danielle should not be listening to
Oh
this.
my God, I know.
I was like, but I know every single word, so I'm going to scream it. So let's go.
Well, it's funny because when I went to see the Pointer Sisters this year, I made a little playlist. So I was listening to it at home and I was singing around, and it was like, I'm about to lose control and I just can't hide it. And I was like, oh, I don't think that's what it meant when I was, oh, no, no, it was.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was
literally
like, all of this music is terrible. We should not be listening to any of it.
terrible.
It's like, I don't know if you watched Grease, the movie Grease growing up, but
Yeah,
when
I
you,
love
yeah,
it.
right,
Mhm.
but when you then watch it as like a 20-year-old, a 30-year-old, a 40-year-old, you're like, oh my God, please get this away from the babies.
Like these kids are over here smoking cigarettes, getting pregnant, dropping out of school, doing all this nefarious things, and we're promoting it.
Be like, oh, 10-year-old sleepover, you should watch. You should
Literally,
watch these 40-year-olds cosplaying as teenagers, as horny teenagers.
literally. But that's like every single teen movie, if you think
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
Like, how old was, I forgot her last name, Molly Blank in Pretty in Pink in 16 Candles
Oh,
and
Molly
Breakfast.
Ringwald? Actually, I do think she was like
She was a
around the
teenager.
right
Okay,
age.
fine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
I
get the
think she
pass.
was around the right age. Yeah. But oh, I was thinking about another one, like even the TV shows that it's like, oh God,
Cringy.
no. Yeah. Oh, I was watching, through Reels, there was a clip from Beverly Hills 90210, and I'm like, these kids were in high school. No, thank you. No, thank you, ma'am.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Like, it's just I have no words because I'm just like, well, you guys put it on. Because back to the Grease thing, it's in middle school, we were singing
Yeah.
the hand jive. We were singing it
Yep.
and doing the movements.
Yes. And
We're just
Greased
promoting.
Lightning, like it's not even coded. It wasn't even coded.
It was just like, wow, we are crazy.
I think we found our next Dapper Day outfits, just like geriatric Grease school kids that understand the lyrics.
Oh my gosh, that'll be so funny. There's so many cool ideas. Like, that's why Disney is so much fun because
Yeah.
you can dress up, no judgment. People are gonna actually give you all the accolades. They're gonna hype you up. They're gonna be like, oh my gosh, I love your outfit. Like for Dapper Day, this couple tracked me down into the American Pavilion and
Hmm.
was like, I'm so sorry. I'm not trying to be creepy, but we really just love your outfit. And I'm just like, oh, thank you. And it's not creepy because I'm Disney property and it's Dapper.
100%. No, it's not creepy. And it's funny because, like, I've been complimented so many times and, like, by men as well, in a
Yeah.
way that's like, oh, that's just like a compliment. It's not even like, oh, now do I have to, like, oh, no, thank you. Yes, I do look great.
Yeah. Like literally, like men compliment me all the time with their significant other or
Yeah.
partner. And I'm not like, ew, get away from me, or
Yeah.
ew, don't call me that, or ew, don't talk to me.
Yeah.
Like I really thank you, move on.
Yeah.
Don't think
It's such an
of it.
interesting place. It's such an interesting place because there is that, like, appreciation without that weird underlying
Hmm.
sexual awkwardness. And that's why, like, one of the things that comes up a lot in these conversations, idea of safety,
Yeah,
especially for women. Like, I
yeah.
was with a woman on a Skyliner once, and she's like, yeah, well, as a woman traveling alone, I find it safe here. And I was like, this is the first time I ever considered it would be unsafe. And it was such a bizarre moment to me because, like, when my sister travels, I'll always be like, make sure you're safe. And I'll give her like a list of things. And here I was like, oh, right, people could be unsafe here. It is so interesting in that bubble.
Yeah, like it is safer in the parks because of the metal detectors, and there's so many unmarked security people, and security and cameras are like at every nook and cranny.
Okay, well, I have kept you for so long, although this is amazing. I feel like we could do this for another hour. I have one final question for you.
Sure.
What is your favorite park? What is something you would recommend solos like do or eat or look for when they're there? And do you have another kind of tip for them when they go? I guess that's three questions, but I'm going to give
Oh,
them to you all
okay.
at once.
I appreciate it. So my favorite park is Magic Kingdom. Yes,
Yes.
cliche, but it's very magical for me. Just going back to the point of with my family, riding rides together, creating those magical memories. Pooh is there, which he's my man.
Yes.
Um, so I think that's my favorite park. A favorite thing to do as a solo, get the kids meal. That's my recommendation for
Nice.
food. Do not buy the adult meal. With the kids meal, there's no age range. They just tell you the recommended age because that's what usually kids that age will eat the amount. So get the kids meal. A kids meal is literally it's $9 and you get a drink included. Like, come
I get
on.
the kids' meals at breakfast and it comes with two sides. So I get like
Yes.
two little things of oranges and apples and a little water bottle for the thing. I'm like, this is so
Literally.
great.
And fun fact, you don't always have to do the apples. You can do a double serving of whatever if there's an option there.
I know that, but I also am going to eat nothing but crap the rest of the day. So this is my little apple treat.
Now, I'm in the belief of like whatever calories I eat at Disney, I'm just gonna burn it off. So I'm just gonna eat whatever I want.
That is fair. That is fair.
But I hear you. I was like, one day I was like, forget apples, I don't care.
Yeah.
And
No, thank you.
then favorite ride, I think that's what you asked, Space Mountain. And then another tip, always look for single rider lines and don't be
Mm,
afraid, even though there's none in Magic Kingdom, but there are a few in Hollywood and Animal Kingdom. And don't be afraid to talk to the cast members because
right.
sometimes they're always looking for a single rider. So, AKA, that means you get on the ride faster. I was on Space Mountain in the line waiting for 30 minutes. The cast member was screaming, any single riders? And I got out the line maybe after 15 minutes standing there. So I rode in 15 minutes versus the 30 as big groups of people would ride. So always pay attention to the cast members if they're screaming something because you might get on the ride faster.
That's great. I love it. I love it. Dani, this has been so amazing. Thank you so much for agreeing to talk to me. I loved sharing your solo story, but all of the stories. I can't believe all the topics we covered today.
We went down a rabbit hole, but
We went down a few.
I love to talk about Disney. Disney is dear to my heart, so I'm always game.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking in the fall, there's some different topics, and I'm just like, ooh, it'd be really great to get a couple people together and have like a panel conversation about them. So yeah, well, hopefully we'll get a chance to talk again.
Of course, please just hit me up. Be like, hey, you're available? Sure, I am. What are we talking about?
Let's talk about something fun. Let's talk about Greece and Creepy Men at
Exactly.
Disney. Yeah.
Exactly. Let's talk about Italy.
Yeah, let's talk about Italy. Exactly. Oh, and you can talk to my sister for that one.
Oh, we're talking about our Italy, okay?
Oh, yes. I got the most fun skirt from the Italy pavilion. It was like,
Oh,
it was a
cool.
big red skirt with a little crinoline underneath. And I
Oh,
wore it to actual Italy, and I was like, no, no one here seems to get it.
you're like, ma'am, it's a lot, ma'am. It's
Yeah,
hot.
no, they literally are like, ma'am, it is too much.
You're like, where's your linen pants? Where is your
Yeah.
linen
Oh, my
top?
linen pants are at Epcot. I should be there right now. Well, how can people get in touch with you? Can you please share all of your social information again?
Okay, so I'm a terrible millennial. I don't do TikTok, but you guys can definitely get in contact with me on Instagram. My handle again is at ParksCurlsandMagic. Yeah, and just DM me. I love a good random conversation or a reference to whatever I said on the podcast, whatever else. I also have a podcast with one of my Disney besties, Christina, called Magically Awkward. And we talk about random tangents, just like kind of what we did with Samantha here. So always fun to
Well,
have.
that's awesome. So the links to both of those things are in the description of this podcast. So it's very easy to be able to get in touch with Dani and listen to her awkward podcast that I'm sure is also hilarious, and to follow her on Instagram. Are millennials on TikTok? Like, I'm an elder millennial. I just felt like that was for the youngins, not
I
for,
don't know. I feel like I use TikTok as like informative and to shop now that they have TikTok shop and
yeah.
it's actually legit. But I'm not really on there posting.
Yeah. I'm just like, no, I don't need another thing. I'm not learning another thing.
that's my brain with Twitter or X or whatever have you. I've never got into it. So I don't know if I consider myself a millennial for real. 'Cause- But
Well,
anyhow,
everyone can weigh in after listening to this.
exactly. Please let me know.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. So until I see you in the parks or talk to you again on the podcast, thanks so much.
you're welcome. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
Hey Solos, it's Samantha. I hope you enjoyed this episode and all the episodes of Solo Magic, the podcast about the magic of going to Disney World solo. Please make sure that you subscribe, rate, review, and share on Apple, Spotify, and or YouTube, wherever you listen to podcasts. And also please connect with me on social media, whether it's Instagram, Disney_solo_magic, Facebook, Disney Solo Magic, Threads, Disney_solo_magic, or our new blog, DisneySoloMagic.blogspot.com. It's been really wonderful to grow this community with you and for you, and I can't wait to continue to do so. So again, please make sure that you share, rate, review, subscribe, and all of those things so that other people can learn about the magic of going to Disney World solo. Until next time, bye.